we as parents, it is our job to fill their toolbox that they can carry around and open up when we're not around, or as an adult or as a young adult, a teenager. They have these toolboxes, and what kind of tools are you going to put in there for them to open up when they need that?
Yeah. Like, always complain.
Yeah.
Always get angry at other people. Blame everyone else.
Yep. You are a victim.
Yep.
Yeah. There's nothing you can do to change your situation.
Yeah.
Like, so they're going to open this up.
It's not going to get any better.
Yeah. And that's how the rest of their life is going to be, because they have no tools to help build up the hard times in life.
Here's the deal. We're two moms and we popped babies out in our 40s. And it's hard.
It was hard.
It's also the best thing that's ever happened to either one of us.
Yeah, but now we're moms in our 40s.
In our 40s.
With preschoolers. So let's talk about that.
Let's talk about it.
Let's bring the community together of women.
All the moms, 40, 20.
And also, like, let's just talk about, like, real shit. Real life, real women shit.
Yeah, real women shit. Let's do that.
Shit's hard. And also, it's funny. Life is funny.
Let me just pull my bush out of my bush.
Cheers.
Cheers. Unfiltered.
Because if you want a show, we're a shit show. We're here for you.
Yeah.
Feels good. I like it like that.
That's the way.
I like it. Spice Girls. Woo! Welcome to Mature-ish Mommas. I'm Cal.
I'm Megs.
Nutmegs.
I'm Nutmegs today.
And Cayenne. We're the Spice Girls. Welcome to the Spicy
If you want
Show.
to be my lover, you got to get with my friends. We're in love forever. The friendship never ends.
This morning, somebody dropped off an electric toothbrush for me.
Oh, nice.
I know. This is my last episode pre-titty surgery, pre-like big boob surgery, pre-take my boobies.
Yep.
So I won't be able to brush my teeth, and they drop it off, and Witten and Quincy are sitting on the couch, and they see that somebody's there, and Witten, all of a sudden, he's just gone because he's so good at this now. And he runs downstairs, and he's coming upstairs, and he's putting on Quincy's like big sweats, like they're way too big for him, and a cardigan. He's just getting dressed, and he's like, "Mom,
Like Mr. Rogers."
Yeah. He's like, "Mom, I saw somebody's here, but they're not our family, so I got to cover my butt, right?" Which is so cute because when you're here, no butts need to be covered.
There's butts out all the time, man.
No butts, no coconuts.
I know. They're cute little booties.
Just booties.
Just 3 little apples,
6,
8. No.
Lots of apples. I hope there's not 8 or 10.
No.
That'd be weird.
2, 4, 6. There's 6 of them.
There's 6.
Yeah.
'Cause 3 boys, 6 cheeks.
Yeah.
How long did your alls, if you guys are listening, how long did your kids roam naked? I'm curious.
Yeah.
Because I think naked roaming is just such a divine thing.
It is.
We were talking about when we think the kids will stop.
When?
No, you and I were talking about it. It was probably a fun night.
I'm glad I was there.
Yep, we were there. We were there for it. We were saying probably when one of them starts changing. Like when
that's
they're like,
right. Yeah.
But it could be,
Yeah.
I mean, full on until like 9, I could see our boys just running around.
Absolutely. There was a point where Cass was running around naked at our house. And he got upset at something, and he ran and like ostriched his head into the couch. So it was just full on star shine right in our face. Yeah. And I was like, I looked at Johnny. I'm like, that just goes to show that we are not ashamed of our body. We learn to like cover up. You know what I mean? Because he was just head down, ass up.
That's my butt.
Bing!
Yep.
Like,
there it is.
Yeah. So
that's so funny.
it was so, we were dying laughing. It was the cutest thing. And he's like crying, and we're like, we're not laughing at him but crying.
Yeah. Well,
But,
but also laughing at him during the situation. It's appropriate.
It's just cute.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. Now we're here like covering everything up unless we're in Mexico. And I'm like, man, do we have to put on clothes again? This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's obnoxious.
I know.
Oh, man. Hey, you want to talk about anything today?
Sure.
When it's just the two of us, you guys are like, what are we going to get?
I also feel like that.
Yeah.
I'm also like, ooh, what are we going to get today?
Well, okay, so this is what I want to talk about. You can
Okay.
talk about what you want to talk about.
Okay.
Want to talk about. This is what I want to talk about because I go to. Okay, so first of all, yes, like last last endeavor before my big surgery. So I've got my fighter hat on. I got my hot pink pants on today, my breast cancer pants. And it was interesting this last like week. I've just been acknowledging or like noticing how many cancer events, cancer people I'm around, like how active the cancer conversation is in my world. Not how active cancer is. We're not going to speak that, but like the cancer conversation is. So in one day I had like scheduled a pediatric cancer coffee because you hang out with other moms, like they need support who have kids with cancer. It's a really hard space. And then I had like a special conversation with Texas Children's Hospital to maybe talk about some different support for Witten because of his new lesion that we found. I don't think we even mentioned that in the show.
No, I haven't. We haven't. I don't think.
That's kind of a bummer, but we celebrated it. We're celebrating that they're doing proactive checks on him. So we're going to do scans again in 6 months, but I want the specialist to just like check that because it doesn't feel great. So spoke with this woman. And then after that, I had my own oncology appointment and I was just like, geez, Louise, like there's a lot of these conversations, but in that I have just over the last years, I've had a lot of opportunity to sit with other pediatric cancer parents. And I made this observation and I just wanted to share about it because it's not just for chemo moms or cancer moms. It's for everyone. And it's something that we've talked about before, but it hit on a different level in this conversation. And I briefly mentioned it to Megs, but I didn't tell her the whole thing. Because sometimes when you have all the conversations, it just doesn't work out on the show because we got to have live conversations with you guys. This is where we're like, hey, you want to get up and talk and just talk about our lives? Let's get on a mic then.
Yep.
Let's do that. Yep. So what I was observing is, okay, so let's just picture for a moment. And I know a lot of people are like, they're already like, click, change the show. I don't even want to acknowledge or think about the fact that kids have cancer, which makes it really difficult for us moms to provide and promote pediatric cancer awareness. And there should be awareness, not because I want people to feel bad or sad or even sorry for the children and the families, but I want them to seek and support with funding for something that's awful. It's really difficult. And that makes advocating for financial support very challenging, where I am also introduced to this world of breast cancer right now. And I am so unbelievably grateful that it is highly funded. I don't know what percentage it is of like all cancers, but I bet if we looked up a stat, it's probably one of the number one cancers that are funded because women have been so incredible about talking and speaking and being loud to provide that income. And when I had my meeting with my oncologist yesterday, it was really, she was just sharing with me like about what like the progress is of breast cancer. Like, well, we used to do this, but then we got curious, like, why is everybody doing radiation and double mastectomy and having chemotherapy? Is it really worth the benefits versus what it's costing them? And they started like evaluating that. And then that's why they have different systems, like now taking the endocrine therapy, and this provides you with 34 to 37% less chance of reoccurrence. But like maybe with your scoring, so they created this thing called an ONC score in the last 10 years. Yeah. So like if I would have gotten breast cancer 10 years ago, there's like there wouldn't be that opportunity. You're just like, okay, now it's chemo. And now they're going to take my tumor. They actually send both my boobies out, and then they're going to test all of the different things. They're looking for certain genes. And then with that, they're going to score it. And then they'll tell me, is it better to have chemo with these side effects or not have chemo? You know, like, so there's just so much advancement because people talk about it, because October NFL wears freaking pink, because everyone knows about breast cancer. And I love that. I love that for me. I love that for our families. I love that for the 1 in 8 women that are getting it. And then I'm sitting at these different events with the chemo moms, with, you know, pediatric cancer patients, and the funding is barely there. They're like, they don't know. They don't know, like, do we have to do a full year and then a full maintenance year for all of these leukemia kids? Is that what's right for them? Is that the exact appropriate thing? Which leukemia has been more funded because it's a more prevalent cancer. And then it's like Witten's, they're still figuring out what the F, like, what does this even mean? And how do we do it best? And I'm so honored to be actually a part of the board. I'm the newest member of the board at the HistioCure Foundation, HCF, where we're working on funding people to funding research for LCH for my son's cancer. But it's just this interesting position. And we were sitting here and I've been talking to other cancer moms about, like, how do we talk about it? How do we share about it? How do we bring it to the marketplace in a positive way. Because I don't know about you, Megs, but like I can't even watch a movie where a kid is harmed. Like,
no, I mean, it's like, I know exactly where you're coming from, because the only thing I can even ever like think about is there's those St. Jude commercials of the children, and you want to turn it off.
you want to change it.
Because it's so heartbreaking.
Yep.
And yeah, and which is like the wrong way to want to feel that way, but it's like an instinct where you're like, oh, I can't even process my kid having this, or any child going through such a horrible
Yep.
portion and possibly losing their life at 4, 6, 3, whatever,
Yeah.
I mean, 12 even, like, holy, yeah. So
It's this instinctive reaction of like turn away, run, hide. I don't want to acknowledge it, because if I ostrich my head, booty out, just like your son,
Yep.
if I do that, then it doesn't exist.
right, I don't have to.
Deal with it.
Yep.
And we were like, how do we change the conversation so that we can support people in not feeling like, because you see it, it doesn't mean your kid's going to get it. And because you see it, it doesn't mean that you have to feel a certain way about the families. And because you see it, it doesn't mean that you have to, like I said, like go into like pity, or like even like you don't need to give away your savings, but just talking about it, just sharing about it is so supportive. But we don't really know how to flip that script and how to do it in a way that will provide people light and love and acknowledgement, so that we can start to get the funding that we need around pediatric cancer. And you know what's cool? This isn't even what I wanted to share.
Well, we're talking about this now.
We just took that on its own way. So
Yeah.
But it led me to, so as we're having these conversations and we're talking about that, and like, so there's this positive side, right? Where you have some moms who are like, how can we advocate? How can we support? And then I'm talking to some moms who are like, okay, so like one family that I met, their kid is on, if you have leukemia in general, because a lot of you don't know and don't want to know, like you have this aggressive first year, and I don't know the right nomenclature because I was just in the beds next to all the people, but like you have 1 year generally of a certain like type of like active chemo, and then you have like a year or two of maintenance chemo, depending on if you're a girl or boy and how old you are. So you have this like long stretched out treatment, but those maintenance years they're hard because you're going to the hospital less. So the kids aren't as used to, like kind of like Witten right now. They're not as used to it, and they're getting older, and now they have the power to say no. And it's challenging. So I'm talking to one mom, and we're like, discussing what that's like, and just commiserating a little bit, commiserating, but supporting, and then talking about like where we find our gratitude, where we find our strength, how we pick ourselves up. And that's such a beautiful thing, right? And then I was acknowledging some other parents and the way they were showing up. And this is really what hit my heart that I wanted to talk to you about, because the way, and we say it over and over again, we talk about our 4 agreements and the power of our word, but the way these people were talking about their child's disease right in front of them, which so much doom and gloom and just negativity. And I'm not saying it's a positive situation, but it's like they were feeding the cancer, and they're through treatment right now, but they're still feeding the cancer that was, and feeding their full lives with like, we've got certain situation where like our school's horrible, and where we've got like restraining orders on people, and we've got like, it was just like, it seemed like everything is awful. Everything is horrible when you're part of this team.
Yeah.
And like my heart is sitting there, and I'm acknowledging the kid, right? Where other parents are like, they're the ones doing the talking. And this kid is absorbing every ounce of energy of their parents' words. And because of that, they're showing up a certain way in their diagnosis. And there's one thing specifically that just like hit me hard is when, and there's a lot of stuff said, right? But when it was just like, your child is asking, and we're repeating the story later on, okay? But your child is asking, like, why would God do this to me? Why wouldn't they just make me die instead of going through this? Which is such, like, this is why you don't want to hear about it. This is why we're turning the station, right? But this is a true fact. And the thing that, like, I'm thinking about is, like, okay, how do we support a child who has anything going wrong in their life with something like this so that they can stand on their own 2 feet and move forward afterwards? And I'm just like, that conversation was probably 3 years ago, but we're still talking about it today. We're keeping it alive. That maybe a child is young enough. Witten's not even going to remember. He barely even remembers, right? So providing we can keep him healthy moving forward, if I don't keep telling him, like, here's all the different things, he's not going to need to live in that situation. But this old conversation is a continuous conversation in front of other people and a child that's like crushing their little being. And my reaction, and that's not even my space, not my space at all, but I don't know how to not say this or not do this. But I'm like, hey, did you know that you are one of God's special warriors? And like, he picked you special, and it's not easy. It's a really, really hard job. And Witten's a warrior too. And he picked a really hard job for him, but he only picks a few rare kids because you guys are so special. You can change the world. And the kid kind of just looks at me like doesn't,
yeah, like, no,
I don't know how to process those words. Those have never been said to me. And it just brought me back to that realization, or like the confronting acknowledgement, that as we speak into our babies and speak in front of our babies, we weren't even speaking into the baby at this point. We're just sharing stories in front of our child. And you think they're not listening, but they're listening.
I don't even think they need to fully be listening. They just feel the energy that you are putting out about whatever you're talking about. Because if casting can call me out in a moment. I can pretend like everything's happy, but maybe I'm having a sad moment, and he knows I'm sad, even if I'm acting like I'm happy. They know, they are so in tune with energy as young babies that it's like they could not be fully listening. They may pick some things here and there, but they know. They know. And I love that you said that to that little child. He needed to hear that. There are things that little kids need to hear.
Yeah.
And what a beautiful gift that you just told him. Like, you are one of God's warriors, and it's not easy. And to acknowledge that it's not easy also is just amazing, because this is his. I mean, it's also his parents, but this really is his fight too. Yeah. And just what I was thinking when you're saying all of this, I'm like, for any child, no matter what the situation is, we as parents, it is our job to fill their toolbox that they can carry around and open up when we're not around, or as an adult or as a young adult, a teenager. They have these toolboxes, and what kind of tools are you going to put in there for them to open up when they need that? Yeah. Because, if you just fill it with, oh, here's a bendy straw and here's some slime. What are they going to do with that later on?
Yeah, like, always complain. Yeah. Always get angry at other people, blame everyone else.
Yep. You are a victim. Yep. Yeah. There's nothing you can do to change your situation. Yeah. Like, so they're going to open this up.
It's not going to get any better.
Yeah. And that's how the rest of their life is going to be, because they have no tools to help build up the hard times in life.
It's so interesting that you use that analogy, because literally I've been just thinking about my current situation. And when I was talking to my oncologist last night, I was like, what else can I be doing? Like, what else should I be proactively doing? And she's like, honestly, you're doing way better than I would be. Like, if I had a cancer diagnosis, because she asked what I did, and I was like, well, I support women with, handling adversity and thriving through life with different tools and whatever. And she was just like, I couldn't do that. And I'm just thinking about all of these women, in like the women in my groups. So now here we are, not the child, but the grown human who's going to face adversity, who is facing adversity. And what tools did their parents put in there? And maybe their parents didn't put anything. Mm-hmm. What tools did they choose to put in there?
Yeah, because it does come to that point as an adult. But, when you've already got a good toolbox behind you from being a child, you're starting the race a lot better than, So
and you have a different belief that's ingrained into you at an early age if you continue to pull out those tools. And gosh dang, like the more people that we can help to understand, which is what we talk a lot about. It's like, I know we have like a lot of humor and joking in here, but every single time there's a tool that you can walk away where it's like, you know, if I just practice that a little bit more, or having a parent sit right now and think about the last week and the conversations that you had where your child was anywhere present. Maybe you're in the kitchen and they're on the couch, right? And you were on the phone and you're bitching to your friend about so-and-so, or you're complaining to your husband about the way he does everything wrong, and the kid's right there, and you're in a constant state of negative energy or negative response, and they're absorbing all of that. They're hearing it, they're pulling it in, and they're altered because of it.
And then that's their show up.
Yeah.
And then that's their show up to you as well. And then you get upset about that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like this weird spirally yuck.
I don't know if we've talked about this, but it makes me think about when we were really in the death trap of a year that we've had, right? And there was all these talks, specifically at my parents' house, where like they wouldn't really understand. My mom really started to absorb it because I told her, I'm like, do you see what's happening here? But do you see what's happening here? Just cannot hit my head. But where they were talking about, you know, our cousin who died, and then they're talking about our aunt who died, and they're talking about our grandma who died, and it's like just conversations about the cancer or the different things that took them, and not negative conversations. They weren't even showing up really like in a I don't know what tools they were using. It was just, they were using talk therapy. Like that was a good thing, but it was in front of the kids. And then I started to notice how Quincy was just, his demeanor was changing. He was getting quieter. He was more muted. He was more fearful. He didn't want to be away from my side, because all of those conversations, whether he was watching a movie or playing a game or doing a puzzle, he was hearing everything. And you just don't think that they are, but they are.
But they are.
They're listening, you guys. And it's wild.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's when Quincy started being fearful that you were going to die. Right?
Yeah.
He was asking.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's, can you even imagine that you're 5? He was 5 then.
Yeah.
Like, or 6, either way. But still, like that poor child having to even like process the fact that what happens if my mom dies?
Yeah.
You know? Oh.
Because there's all this conversation in front of them. And that doesn't mean that we ostrich our head, to the bad things that go on in our lives, but our small ears around us, they're going to notice what we focus on. And what's cool about, if you were to proactively take this on as a practice, if you choose to start embracing some of the tools, like praying for other people, having gratitude, serving other people who are like, hey, we have somebody who's going through something. We're going to paint them rocks. We're going to bring them a meal of food. Let's draw them a card and tell them how much we love them.
Yep.
And you do
just call them on the phone.
Yeah. And just
tell them, I love you.
I love you. Do a little voice message.
Yeah. Yeah. And continuing to do that out loud in front of them, praying out loud in front of them.
Yeah.
Doing your gratitudes out loud in front of them, not even to them, but around them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to be like lecturing them or like sitting down and here's what we're going to do next. They learn by example. They see how you're coping. So now you take somebody who's consistently complaining to, they notice mom's always complaining. Mom's always complaining. Mom's always sad. Mom's always blaming everyone. Mom's always upset at dad. Mom's always, and now they're like, wow, mom's always, saying thank you. Mom's always helping people. Mom's always doing journaling. I don't know what she's over there writing, but like, look at her do that stuff. And it's this like shift that they just get to experience by proximity.
But yeah, exactly.
It's so cool.
It's beautiful. And so another point that I think is really cool and awesome and a really good thing to practice with your child as well is having conversations with them, no matter how old they are. 1, 2, 3 years old, like they can still absorb some kind of conversation. And I think they get so much out of you, the person that they love and look up to the most at this time in their life, at any time, really, no matter even if they're 14 or 15 and you think they hate you, but they still love you and look up to you. And to have the person that you love the most come to you and say, how are you doing with this? Or what are your thoughts on what you've been hearing, or how are you feeling after grandma passed, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like actually giving them a space to process those feelings themselves, even if they're 3. And I had to talk to him because Caston lost his grandpa, and he obviously can't consume and have the full reality of what that actually is.
Yeah.
But to sit down with him and tell him this is what, that grandpa's gone to heaven, and we can talk to him with prayers, but that's the only way, or whatever we sat down and talked about.
Yeah.
And, I was crying, and he was like, are you sad? And I told him yes, and what was going on. And then I asked him, I was like, how are you feeling? And he just was like, I love grandpa.
Yeah.
And that's like all he needed, or whatever, So just to sit down with your kids sometimes and focus on them and give them a space to process and talk.
Yeah.
And just shut up.
Yeah. And
After,
you're opening the door for conversation so that they can learn when they're 7, when they're 9, when they're 16, when they're 22, that they can talk about situations and their emotions, which is going to be incredibly supportive for their long-term life too.
Absolutely. Because I think that a lot of us, when we were younger or whatever, learned to kind of push everything away and pretend like, it's like you cry and then you get over it, you know? So it's like, no, that's not how it goes.
Yeah.
So,
and having the balance of that, and then like an intentional perspective shift that your kids can't do yet. Mm-hmm. They don't have the ability to even understand what the word perspective means. And my tagline for life is that perspective reveals miracles. And the way you present a situation is going to alter the way you feel about the situation, is going to alter the way the situation shows back up to you. And like, I'm even thinking about me telling the kids about my breast cancer. And I mean, there's a lot of ways that I could have done that. I'd be like, you guys, mom has cancer just like Auntie Grandma Vicky did, who's dead. And cousin Jason is, who's no longer with, like, I mean, I could have had like all these conversations like that. That would not have been a very good perspective.
Well, even like, just because Quincy's a little older, even the way that if you just said I have cancer, or he heard it from somebody talking about it, for him to think about how he had to go through that with his little brother, and that whole thing around that, which was pretty traumatic, I think, in some ways for Quincy.
Yeah.
Now to think that that's how it is.
Right. And it was like allowing him to process. So instead I was like, and this was a great recommendation from another mom, because I didn't know what to do or how to do it. And I had different people who wanted to like send me books about like when your mom has cancer or different things, that's great too. There's different tools for helping them process that. But my answer is like this woman said, like, I have a little bug. My mom has a bug in her body, and the doctors are going to help me get it out. And like, what do you mean like a bug? I'm like, it's like, and I think I did like a cancer bug, or I used a word like that, but the word bug just like minimalized things, right? It's like, and it was already expressed, like the doctor's going to help get it out. They're going to take care of mommy. And then it was a redirection, right? Perspective, redirection. So I'm like, the thing that we're going to focus on is that you're not going to be able to touch mommy, or you're not going to be able to like sleep by mommy for a little while. That's hard enough news for them. They're not even thinking about losing mommy, because now they just know they can't hug me. And that's going to be, I'm like, that's great. Let's focus on that. That's a small loss compared to the possibility.
And it's a hump we can get over.
Yeah.
That's something that we can tackle together. And make it through.
Yes.
Yeah.
And with anything that you're facing, having that perspective where you're able to present the reality of a situation, but also help them. It's another tool in their toolbox. Perspective is another tool that's in their box, right? But when they're little, like I said, they can't cultivate that yet. You have to do that for them, and realize if you don't know if you're doing it, you're providing whatever perspective you're getting. And if that's complaining and upset and anger, that's the perspective they're going to get to, Yeah. The other thing that I was thinking about before makes too is that I did a reel yesterday, and I don't know, I'll get tentative on how vocal I want to be about this, but I want to be vocal, but people get pissed. And it's about people complaining about small things when there's big things going on in the world. And I don't want to be dismissive of your life or what you have occurring, but like, there are things that are small things, if you couldn't find the matching set to your silverware and you were trying to finish it and you're pissed off about it, that's like, I feel like that's a pretty small thing, but people are pretty pissed about it.
Right.
If you're late to work because there was traffic and you're mad that the guy cut you off and you are raging about it, I feel like that's something that's just not worth raging about. And there's so many things. I mean, even some bigger, small things where you're like, you're having a fight with your best friend right now, and it hurts right now, and it's a bummer, but how can you work through that and move through that without making a molehill a master hill?
Absolutely.
Transitioning that molehill into a master hill.
Like Socrates over here.
And so I'm trying to figure out how vocal I want to be, right? So I did decide to do this post where I shared about all those different cancer things that I had going on. And then I finished it off by saying, and I'm over here saying gratitude while you're complaining about the traffic, I think is the example that I use. And most people are like, yes, 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 agree. Also, I love your short hair. Like these are the comments I'm getting. And then there are some people like, yeah, but you don't know what it's like to live in my life. And I'm clinically depressed and I have this and this. And like, they come back at like, I'm attacking them because people feel it's a mirror for them of what they're feeling. Right. And I don't want to upset people, but I do want to stop some people in the tracks. Right. Like, and the one for the person who was talking about being clinically depressed, I'm like, all I'm going to do is send you light and love. There are people who are not experiencing any sort of mental complication. They are just choosing anger and hate and complain when they could be choosing light, love, and servitude, and they're not. And
again, it's just a perspective. It's really how you are looking at the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
and how vocal can we get with people to try to support them in honing that in?
Yeah.
And the other thing that I'm curious about how vocal to be, because this is all about, I guess, this is about using our voices today. Like really, because, in the beginning, just talking about how we can talk to our kids about these things and how much should we say. So also like looking at how do we talk about using our voices to share with people that adversity happens. Like shit happens in every single person's life. And again, with like the Jude commercial, St. Jude commercials. Yeah. Like we want to pretend like it's not going to happen and we don't want to focus on it and draw it in, but you will experience death in your life because people die. That is going to happen no matter what. At some point, someone is going to die unless you die first. That's dismal to say, but that's just the truth. People are going to get sick. They might have the flu. They might have some sort of complication. They might need to get dental work done. That like really just sucks. You might not stay in your relationship. 40% of people get cancer. 50% break their bones. We know this. Like you might break a bone. Right. 50% get divorced. So your marriage might not last. So then your parents' marriage doesn't last. Or you have, like, you're dealing with things. There's stuff in life that happens. And if we are going to move through life, and I'm thinking about like, how do I talk about the fact that shit happens, but it's about having the tools. And the people who choose to move through life and not acknowledge that there are tools for them to move through, like it's going to be a really complicated and a somewhat sad or very sad life. And that makes me sad for them. So then I'm like, how do we use our voice to tell them, hey, mother effers, shit's going to happen. Get your tool belt ready without making them feel like they're preparing for war. But really, you're preparing to be a warrior in this life because no matter what, you just got to show up like that sometimes.
Exactly. And it's something we've already talked about 100 times. It's what you're putting in, what you're constantly putting into yourself. So you don't have to like get your tool belt. Like I'm going to take this course and put it here and I'm going to do this. Like it's just what you are constantly doing in your life that will show up when you need it and that will outpour when there's things coming out. You know what I mean?
Because that's what you're full of.
That's what you're full of. So if you are sitting down and being grateful for the little things when there is no anniversaries. Adversities. When you're sitting down and being thankful for the food in front of you, that you got to wash your clothes in a washing machine today, or you can go to the faucet and turn water on at your house. Like when nothing bad is happening and you are so grateful for that, when things show up that are going to be hard, that's what's already inside. Yeah. And that's what's going to keep coming out. So that's the way that you fill up your toolbox is when it's not shit, when there's not a shit storm. That's when you're starting to fill it up. And then you grab that toolbox and you open it up in those hard parts. And what you put in there will start to come out.
And I feel like those are the people that I want to like shout to the back, right? Yeah. It's like your life is good right now. Yes. You don't have cancer. Your child doesn't have cancer. You didn't just have 6 people die last year. Yeah. And maybe you did. And so like maybe your life is a little more adverse. So you're like, hopefully you've been practicing. But it's like you're in a flow of life and you're still complaining. You're still bitching about the little things. You're still focusing on everything your spouse does wrong. Have you ever thought about the things they do right? There's probably 35 things that they did right for the 34 things they did wrong. but you're focusing on the one side of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's where your focus goes. That's it's not even like it's going to grow. That's the only thing you know.
It's all you see.
Yeah, because you can't even acknowledge the other side. And I hope that all of us walking through our life, realizing that like if you're in a sweet spot, this is the time to practice. Gosh dang, Megs, we need to get these programs back up.
Yeah, we do.
Because it's like the number of people who ran through our I Am Journey program who were literally, we were teaching them the tools, because then some people are watching like, well, I don't know what the tools are. I've never been taught that. Where do I even start?
And that's fair.
It is. And so let's just.
And just know that you can start at any time.
Yeah.
You can have lived angrily for the last 47 years of your life, and you can turn around today and say, I don't want to do that anymore.
I don't want to speak that to my kid.
No. And I don't want to I don't want to hate my husband, or I don't want to hate my job, or I don't want to I don't want to wake up every day and hate life.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay to take that, because that is your choice. Like we've always said too, for you to wake up one day and say, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do life like this anymore.
No.
And you can change that. You cannot have to do that anymore. So we're going to get some programs out for you.
I know. I'm just sitting here. I'm like, okay, we better go, because we got to get some stuff figured out here.
We got shit to do now. We'll be back.
So until we have those developed, you guys just start with gratitude, start saying thank you, whether you're in an absolute shitstorm. And I don't even consider myself in an absolute shitstorm. We have some bad things going on, but I know that there are way shittier shitstorms, but we do have some adversity that we're facing right now. And I'm going to keep doing gratitudes. And like Megs was saying, well, Megs is about to enter some surgery times too with her hubby. We have stuff going on, but we're going to keep saying thank you.
Yeah.
So start with just saying thank you, and we'll work on this other stuff. We'll let you know when it's out there, but keep listening too, because we will keep talking about, there's layered lessons every single conversation, even when we're just doing drinking games like the last episode. Cheers to that. Sometimes that's a way of coping.
Yep. It's just having a good time with your friends.
You just need a little bit of laughter.
Yep.
Bitty baby bit of laughter. Can I just say one more thing? It's just funny. And we're almost done, guys.
Do it.
We're in the gym yesterday, and we're finished and we're getting ready. And Meg's like, I don't know if it's the hormones or what it is, but I kind of just feel a little
meh. Just feeling kind of serious, like not myself.
And then she was, maybe it's because my two favorite people in my life are going through major surgeries in the next 4 days. Because you know how usually Megs and I do things together? Mm-hmm. She didn't need the surgery this time. So now her husband, her life partner, and her soulmate.
Yes. Are having, if you don't get those, don't get that switched up. Yeah. Literally within 3 days at the same time, like Friday, Monday,
5:30 a.m. Friday.
5:30 a.m.
You're going to have a major surgery. You're going to be like, for 2 weeks, you're going to be immobile and you're going to be an absolute wreck. And she's like, how do I take care of both of them? Mm-hmm. I'm going to be bouncing back like a ping pong ball with my humans. I'm like, Megs, I think that kind of makes sense. Maybe I would feel a little, too. And meanwhile, she's working out. She's doing her gratitude. She's finding laughter. And she still feels, because that's the reality of some parts of life. But if she wasn't doing if she wasn't doing all those things, she probably would maybe just be laying in a corner at home.
I was like, I'd be in a ball, in a fetal position in my bed, probably.
You're just crying about everything that's so hard.
That's so hard for me.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so hard for me.
I have to take care of all these humans. Ugh.
No, it is. I just am so honored that I get to be the person to do that. So I'm so thankful to be able to be the person to do that.
Yeah.
And I just love you both so much that I'm going to bounce back and forth like a little ping pong ball.
And God made her freaking special. So she ping pongs. You watch this girl ping pong.
Ping, ping, pong.
Ding, 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 ding. Guys, we got to go do some programs. We love you.
Love your guts.
Thanks for being here again. Let your guts.
Talk nice to yourself and about everybody around you today. Try it. That's your, what is it?
Homework.
That's your homework. That's your
dissertation. That's your challenge.
Challenge for today. That's your challenge for today.
I used to end every Good Morning Sunshine with a challenge.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. That's
Today's your challenge is to talk good about everything and everyone around you outside. As much as you are just find the one thing that is good in that moment.
Pour it out.
Just be like, you or your shoelaces are very clean. It's very nice to see those clean shoelaces.
Love you guys.
Love
Bye.
you. Bye.
Thanks for joining, and don't forget to subscribe and, of course, share with your friends. Guys, that's how we impact more lives. All right, see you next time.
Hey, stop being a whiny bitch.
Yeah. Hit it, Pearl.
Hit it, Pearl. The moms at the table that were being big dicks to their kids, but they didn't even know it.
Yeah.
And they're ruining their life. They're ruining their life. They're ruining their life.
I think you should just break down to that song next time it happens. When someone's just being a dick to their kid. You're ruining their life. You're ruining their life.
I'm watching you, Mom. Maybe I should get some of those hormones. I'm going to have the lack of them. Can you imagine our conversation soon?
Oh, my
when
gosh.
I have none. They're taking all of mine.
Yeah, right?
This is going to be good.
That's going to be fun.
We might want to record ahead.
Yeah. I'll just start drinking and you can just take your hormones away, okay?